Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome back to Mysterious Case. Our channel's videos are created for advocacy and educational purposes, always aiming for positivity and encouraging everyone to stay safe. At the same time, we empathize with the losses of victims and their loved ones. If this is your first time here and you enjoy exploring content about crime and mysteries, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you. The case in this episode takes place in Chiba Prefecture, located in Japan's Kanto region, a culturally and economically rich area just east of Tokyo. Covering approximately 5,157 square kilometers with a population of over 6.2 million, Chiba is one of Japan's most populous and developed prefectures. Its capital, Chiba City, serves as the hub for administrative and commercial activities. Chiba is renowned for blending modern urban life with natural beauty. Narita International Airport, Japan's main gateway, is located here, attracting millions of visitors annually. Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea, two world-class theme parks, are also situated in Chiba. On the natural front, Kujukuri Beach and Mount Noko-Giriyama, with its giant Buddha statue, are striking destinations. Chiba also boasts a rich cultural heritage, exemplified by the Narita-san Shinshoji Temple, which draws countless worshippers and tourists. Chiba's economy thrives on agriculture, fisheries, and industry. Fresh seafood, peanuts, and grilled eel are among its notable specialties. Thanks to its proximity to Tokyo, Chiba is an ideal place to live and work, offering a balance between urban vibrancy and tranquil spaces. This is Lindsay Hawker, a vibrant young woman born on December 30th, 1984, in Coventry, England, and a source of pride for her family. With a radiant smile and warm personality, Lindsay grew up surrounded by the love of her parents, Bill and Julia, and her two sisters, Louise and Lisa. From a young age, she displayed intelligence and diligence, attending King Henry VIII School, and later graduating with honors in biology from the University of Leeds in 2006. Beyond her academic excellence, Lindsay was cherished by friends for her friendly demeanor and open-minded spirit. After graduating instead of immediately pursuing a master's degree, Lindsay decided to take a year to explore the world and embrace new experiences. She chose Japan as her destination, a country renowned for its unique culture and dynamic lifestyle. In October 2006, Lindsay arrived in Tokyo after being accepted to work at Nova, Japan's largest private English-language school. It was a prestigious opportunity, and Lindsay was proud to be among the few selected to teach in the Koiwa area of Edogawa Ward, Tokyo. In Japan, Lindsay quickly adapted to her new life. She moved to Chiba, a peaceful suburban area with lower living costs than central Tokyo, sharing a home with two fellow teachers. The trio soon became close friends, exploring bustling streets, ancient temples, and Japan's distinctive cuisine together. Lindsay loved her teaching job, savoring every moment in her new country while staying connected with her family and boyfriend in England through calls and social media. For Lindsay, this journey was not only a chance to grow, but also an opportunity to discover herself before embarking on the next chapter of her life. One day in March 2007, Lindsay Hawker's peaceful life in Chiba was suddenly disrupted by a strange encounter. After finishing her work at the Nova English School, Lindsay returned to Chiba Station and was preparing to ride her bicycle home. Suddenly, a man appeared from behind, abruptly saying, "You're my English teacher." Lindsay was surprised, certain that this man was not one of her students. The man, with an odd demeanor, continued to follow her despite Lindsay's attempts to dismiss him and her evident discomfort. Undeterred, the man, later identified as Tatsuya Ichihashi, persistently followed Lindsay as she cycled home. He tried to engage her in conversation, asking about her hometown and education, but Lindsay only wanted to escape the awkward situation. Despite speeding up, she couldn't lose Ichihashi through Chiba's intricate streets. When she reached her apartment, Lindsay stopped, hoping this would make him give up. However, Ichihashi remained persistent. He offered to pay generously for private English lessons at a cafe. Lindsay refused, explaining that her schedule was full and she wanted her free time to relax. Undiscouraged, Ichihashi pressed further with an odd request: a glass of water, claiming he was tired from running after her. Though hesitant, Lindsay led him into the apartment she shared with two friends, thinking their presence would keep her safe and allow them to note the man's appearance in case of future issues. Inside, Ichihashi continued to push for English lessons, this time offering a specific rate: 3,500 yen, about $32 per hour. Needing money to cover expenses, Lindsay reluctantly agreed to meet him at a cafe a few days later. Before leaving, Ichihashi left a piece of paper with his name, phone number, and a sketch of Lindsay's face that he had drawn. I must admit, the guy was quite talented with his drawing. Tatsuya Ichihashi, the man who approached Lindsay Hawker in an unsettling manner, was a 28-year-old born on January 5, 1979, in Gifu Prefecture, Japan. Raised in an affluent family in Ichikawa, Chiba Prefecture, Ichihashi received a good education, with his father a doctor and his mother a dentist. As a child, he dreamed of becoming a doctor like his father. But this ambition crumbled when he failed the medical school entrance exam. Instead, he studied agriculture at Chiba University, graduating in 2005. However, after graduation, he made no effort to find work, living off a monthly allowance of 100,000 yen, about $920 from his parents. Though he had no criminal record, Ichihashi was once implicated in a suspicious incident. He was accused of attacking a woman on the street in a robbery, but the matter was settled out of court when his father paid 1 million yen, about $10,000 in compensation. Acquaintances described Ichihashi as reserved and socially withdrawn, yet obsessed with physical fitness. He frequently visited the gym and cycled over 25 kilometers daily, leading an eccentric, almost reclusive lifestyle. Additionally, Ichihashi displayed a rebellious streak, showing no interest in becoming independent and relying entirely on his family. His encounter with Lindsay was not coincidental. It appears Ichihashi had noticed her beforehand, and his approach at Chiba Station was part of a calculated plan. He acted politely, but his persistent following and bizarre requests made Lindsay uneasy. The piece of paper with the sketch of Lindsay's face that he left behind was not just a keepsake, but a sign of his fixation on her. Behind his ordinary facade, Ichihashi hid a sinister side, and his subsequent actions would reveal his true nature. On March 24, 2007, Lindsay Hawker prepared for her first English lesson with Tatsuya Ichihashi at a cafe in Chiba. She had previously contacted him to confirm the appointment, and everything seemed normal. Security footage at the cafe captured the two chatting while waiting to order drinks. Lindsay appeared relatively at ease but maintained her distance as Ichihashi tried to get closer. The lesson lasted about an hour and seemed to go smoothly. However, when it ended, Ichihashi suddenly claimed he forgot to bring money and asked Lindsay to accompany him to his apartment, just half a mile away, to get her payment. Though hesitant, Lindsay agreed, needing the money and facing a busy afternoon schedule at Nova. She asked the taxi driver to wait outside Ichihashi's apartment, believing this would ensure her safety. However, after entering the apartment, Lindsay did not return. The taxi driver, after waiting a few minutes, assumed she might have changed plans and left without notifying anyone. That afternoon, Lindsay failed to show up at work, which was unusual for someone known for punctuality and responsibility. By evening, her roommates grew worried when she didn't return home. They contacted the police to report her missing, but authorities initially didn't treat the case as serious. The next day, Lindsay remained absent, and her silence alarmed her family and friends in England. By Monday, when she missed a second consecutive workday, Nova immediately notified her family. Fear gripped everyone. Lindsay's roommates provided police with a crucial clue: the piece of paper with her sketched portrait and Ichihashi's contact details. The police sprang into action, unaware that what they were about to uncover would shock many. I bet you're feeling uneasy, and, well, how do I put it? Let's just say I should keep going. At around 5:40 p.m. on March 26, 2007, Two police officers arrived at Tatsuya Ichihashi's apartment in Chiba to investigate Lindsay Hawker's disappearance. Based on the note Lindsay left behind, Ichihashi was a potential suspect. However, when they knocked, no one answered. A neighbor allowed the officers to peer into the apartment from the balcony. Though the lights were off, they noticed a figure moving inside and an odd detail. The apartment's detachable bathtub had been moved to the balcony. Suspecting Lindsay might be held captive, the officers called for backup. Within an hour, 7 more officers arrived, preparing to enter the apartment. At that moment, Ichihashi suddenly opened the door, carrying a backpack. In the ensuing chaos, he bolted past the officers, abandoning his backpack and escaping. With narrow hallways and no communication equipment, the police couldn't catch him. Ichihashi vanished into the Tokyo night, leaving behind a suspicious scene. Upon searching the apartment, police uncovered a horrifying sight. Inside the bathtub on the balcony, they found Lindsay Hawker's body, buried in a mixture of sand and soil. With only her right hand exposed, she was bound with plastic ties and cloth, her body covered in bruises, indicating a prolonged attack before her death. Even more chilling, Lindsay's hair had been shaved off, and police found several wigs in the apartment, raising disturbing questions about Ichihashi's intentions. The bathtub contained a decomposing agent to hasten the body's decay, along with flower seeds scattered on top, as if to disguise the crime. Lindsay's personal belongings were strewn across the apartment, confirming she was killed there. This discovery not only shocked the police, but also marked the beginning of a massive manhunt for Tatsuya Ichihashi, who became Japan's most wanted fugitive. After Tatsuya Ichihashi fled his apartment on the evening of March 26, 2007, Japanese police launched a massive manhunt. He became the nation's most wanted fugitive, with wanted posters plastered across Tokyo and his image broadcast on every media outlet. Police interviewed anyone who might have information and raided locations where Ichihashi was suspected to be hiding. Despite these efforts, he seemed to have vanished without a trace. To aid the search, police released edited images of Ichihashi, including versions with wigs, based on the theory that he might be disguising himself. However, the following weeks yielded no solid leads. Sightings of Ichihashi led to dead ends, stalling the investigation. This failure fueled frustration in Lindsay's family, particularly her parents, Bill and Julia, who felt the Japanese police lacked determination in capturing the killer. Ichihashi's disappearance became a focal point for both British and Japanese media. Reports criticized the authorities, questioning how 9 officers allowed a suspect to slip away and why wanted posters used outdated images of Ichihashi. Meanwhile, Lindsay's family refused to stay idle. Just months after their daughter's death, Bill and Julia traveled to Japan, organizing their own awareness campaigns. They distributed flyers, appeared on television, and even met with Yakuza members, offering them whiskey in exchange for help in finding Ichihashi. Despite growing public pressure, Ichihashi continued to evade capture, turning the urgent task of apprehending him into a years-long ordeal. His patience and ability to remain hidden stunned many, while deepening the anguish of Lindsay's family, who desperately sought justice for their beloved daughter. While Japan was in a frenzy searching for Tatsuya Ichihashi, he displayed a remarkable ability to evade capture. After escaping his Chiba apartment in March 2007, Ichihashi moved constantly across Japan, from Aomori in the north to Okinawa in the south. To avoid detection, he lived an almost invisible life, often staying in internet cafes or remote locations. Astonishingly, he even hid in an abandoned concrete bunker on a remote island, a place no one would suspect. To survive, Ichihashi worked at construction sites where no identification was required, allowing him to earn money without leaving a trace. He used his meager earnings to alter his appearance and elude police. He went to extreme lengths, brutally disfiguring his face, cutting part of his lower lip with scissors, removing moles, and even sewing his nose with thread to change its shape. These actions revealed his desperation and determination to avoid capture. By 2008, Ichihashi relocated to Osaka, a bustling city 250 miles from Tokyo, known for its vibrant lifestyle and modern architecture. There, he continued taking odd jobs and used the money to undergo professional cosmetic surgeries, refining his facial features to blend into crowds. These changes made it nearly impossible for police to spot him. Throughout this time, pressure from the public and Lindsay's family intensified. But Ichihashi remained a phantom, always one step ahead of authorities. Ichihashi's adaptability and audacity turned the manhunt into a formidable challenge for Japanese police. Each day, he remained at large, deepened the pain of Lindsay's family, who faced the harsh reality that their daughter's killer was still free, living a secretive life and constantly changing to escape justice. By the summer of 2009, after over 2 years of Tatsuya Ichihashi evading capture, Japanese police were growing desperate. The prolonged, fruitless manhunt fueled public criticism of the authorities. To reinvigorate efforts, Japan's National Police Agency increased the reward for information on Ichihashi from 1 million yen to 10 million yen, about $92,000. They also announced that Ichihashi might have undergone cosmetic surgery to alter his appearance, urging the public to focus on his distinctive features, even if his face had changed. A breakthrough came in October 2009 when a cosmetic surgeon in Nagoya contacted the police. He suspected he had operated on Ichihashi, based on similarities with the suspect's description. Crucially, the surgeon had taken before and after photos of the patient. A stroke of justice for Lindsay, and a fatal mistake for Ichihashi, who foolishly allowed himself to be photographed. These images were sent to investigators. When police released Ichihashi's updated photos, they spread rapidly nationwide, shattering his confidence. A co-worker at a construction site in Osaka recognized Ichihashi's face from the images, making him realize he was no longer safe. Panicked, Ichihashi planned to flee to Okinawa, where he had previously hidden in abandoned bunkers. On November 10, 2009, he sneaked to a ferry port in Osaka, hoping to catch a slow boat to escape. But his luck had run out. A port employee recognized him from the wanted posters and alerted security. Minutes later, a group of police officers apprehended him. When asked his name, Ichihashi knew the game was over. "I am Tatsuya Ichihashi," he admitted, ending his over 2-year run. Ichihashi's arrest was a major victory for Japanese police but opened a painful new chapter for Lindsay's family. They now faced a trial where horrific details of their daughter's death would be laid bare, reviving the grief they had struggled to overcome. After his arrest on November 10, 2009, Tatsuya Ichihashi was detained to prepare for trial. Initially charged with abandoning a body, he later faced graver accusations, including rape and the murder of Lindsay Hawker. The trial began on July 4, 2011, drawing intense attention from both Japan and the UK. With clear evidence and Ichihashi's confession, the outcome was almost certain, but the key question was the punishment he would receive. During the trial, Ichihashi admitted to luring Lindsay to his apartment, raping her, and then strangling her out of fear that her screams would alert neighbors. His chilling testimony devastated Lindsay's family, who were present in court. They endured not only the brutal truth about their daughter's final moments, but also the unbearable images of her body they never wished to see. Despite their grief, the Hawker family remained resolute, determined to seek justice. In Japan, the death penalty is rarely imposed for single murders, but given the crime's brutality and media scrutiny, many expected Ichihashi to face the harshest punishment. Lindsay's family publicly called for the death penalty, viewing it as the only fitting retribution. However, on July 21, 2011, the court sentenced Ichihashi to life imprisonment. The reasoning was his lack of prior convictions and, at age 32, his potential for rehabilitation. This verdict disappointed Lindsay's family, though they found some solace knowing the killer was no longer free. The trial not only judged Ichihashi, but also exposed the cruelty of his crime. For Lindsay's family, while justice was served, the pain of losing their daughter remained unhealed. They left the courtroom with heavy hearts, carrying memories of a vibrant young woman now reduced to painful recollections. After Tatsuya Ichihashi was sentenced to life imprisonment in July 2011, Lindsay Hawker's family returned to England with wounded hearts. They expressed gratitude to Japan for delivering justice, though it fell short of their hopes. In a statement, Lindsay's parents said, "We've waited 4.5 years for justice. Lindsay loved Japan, and you didn't let her down. Yet, the loss of their daughter remained an unfillable void in their lives. While awaiting trial, Ichihashi wrote an autobiography titled Until I Was Arrested, detailing his 2.5 years on the run and the measures he took to evade capture. The book sold over 100,000 copies worldwide, with Ichihashi claiming all profits would go to Lindsay's family as an act of atonement. The Hawker family rejected this outright, stating that nothing could compensate for their loss. To them, the book was merely a hollow gesture from the man who took their daughter's life. Lindsay Hawker's case was not just a personal tragedy, but also sparked debates about the safety of foreigners in Japan and the effectiveness of the justice system. The initial delays in the investigation, Ichihashi's escape, and errors during the manhunt raised questions about police competence. The case also prompted initiatives to raise awareness about personal safety, especially for young people living abroad. Lindsay Hawker left behind a legacy of kindness and courage. She was a bright, vibrant young woman, always ready to help others, but her kindness was exploited by a cruel individual. Her story serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance in seemingly harmless situations. Though Lindsay is gone, her smile and optimistic spirit live on in the hearts of her family, friends, and those touched by her tragic story. What are your thoughts? Share them in the comments below. And don't forget to follow us for more updates. Thank you, and see you next time.